It's June the 10th, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, thejoelpearl.com on Blue Sky, and it's time to get in the weeds. A tabular, no, I did it again. Tubular? It's a tubular Tuesday. I never work the T days. I don't work the T days, but this guy does. SB3 is with me as always. It must be a midweek, so we must be getting to it. How you doing, pal?
I am doing well. I was telling Joe before we went live here, I never get to do shows with him, never get to talk to him outside of doing when I randomly like show up in the middle of the show and we decide we're gonna argue with each other and talk over each other for like 5 minutes. But it's nice to talk to Joel outside of being on screen where we have to keep up the bit of hating each other.
That's right. And today we will hate as we always do. I hate you, man. I hate you so much.
I hate you so hard.
So first things first, I could see people talking about the headline, so that's good. That must mean we are on the air. That must mean everything is working again. Apologies once again to everyone who's watching, listening, and so forth. We got cut off. StreamYard, our streaming service here, I don't know what happened. It sounded like they just completely everybody, and our stream went black. And SB3, you messaged us. You're just like, you guys okay? I thought you were like catching up on the show because we had started so late and had audio issues. And then you're like, no, I mean, right now your screen is black. And we're like, huh? So we go and we check it, and the live chat's still going. And this was the thing. So we have a different chat than the one that y'all see. So here below is the chat, right? Like I can show it on the main screen. If so, like here, just put this. There you go. So Will's comment right there shows up. Any platform that you post it from, it will show up. So there you go. There's the Fightful Gaming one. So I'll take that off. At one point, as we're talking about whatever we're talking about, I think we're talking about Santana and the interest from WWE. And we thought more people would be engaging with that conversation because it's a really interesting one to have. And I started like noticing no one's saying anything. And that's really unusual for this chat. Y'all usually have something to say. And then I went to the actual YouTube chat and I'm like, oh no, they're going off. But they're also going off on the black screen that has nothing in front of it. Jeremy and I kept talking for 15 more minutes, thinking, by the way, that the audio was still, or at least the video from this particular recording was still being gathered so that we could then use it later on the audio version of the show. Nope. Completely black. Just gone. Done. Don't know what happened. I apologize for that. But thank you to SP3 because he's the one who pointed it out and got us. We would have got another 35 minutes if we hadn't realized what was going on.
I said that as soon as you said, "Oh, we thought the audio would pick up." I was like, "Well, thank God I messaged you guys. Thank God." I don't know what. So, like, I'm watching something completely different. I'm watching I think I was catching up on Big Mouth because the new season dropped, and I'm like 2 seasons back. So I'm binge watching Big Mouth, and then my kids come into the room, and I can't watch Big Mouth with my kids because if you've seen Big Mouth, that's not. Even though it's a cartoon, it's not content for kids. So I was like, let me turn on Jeremy and Joel, and I turn it on, and I just see a black screen. I had the comments on, the chat on my TV, so I just see the comments, and I'm like, okay, so it's not me. Oh, okay. Let me these guys. I rewind back to just check to be like, okay, has it been like this for a while? And no, I rewind like 2 minutes and I saw you guys on screen. And then the abrupt nature of where they cut you off too was awesome because it was like I saw somebody in the chat say this. It was like the ending of Sopranos or the ending of Everybody Hates Crits, one or the other, because they're the same.
I got my point across. We were talking about Santana, and I was saying, give him the title at Slammiversary, and then it just that was it. So we got it. I got the main point across. I think the story that I was trying to tell that someone mentioned they wanted me to say really quickly. What I was telling Jeremy, apparently solo with him, in front of nobody else. It was just him and I chatting. Was when I last saw Santana last year at a Greektown wrestling show in Toronto. He was giving advice to the undercard. And he didn't have to do that. He was watching their matches. He was participating in like the conversation and facilitating that conversation as well as he was asked, what can we do? And what can we do differently? He was being a leader, which is something that he had set out to do in his, bet on myself kind of mentality. I was trying to get over the idea and the fact that Santana's rebrand, this Santana rebuild, whatever he's been wanting to do, he has been doing. And I think that's why a company like WWE wanting him is absolutely no surprise, given his talent and just given his take on the business and the way that he operates. I'm
vanilla, baby.
Get in the car.
Here he is.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Just interrupt me, why don't you? Go ahead.
That was Shoal's fault.
Oh, you got it. That was the synergy. I finished my point, and then we brought you back.
Yeah, that was Shoal's fault. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing on this alleged Tuesday?
I mean, if you look at the calendar, it is Tuesday. It's not alleged. This is one of the times where you can definitely say it's Tuesday.
It's Wednesday in Japan, maybe?
I don't even know. Is it?
Nah, I don't think it's quite Wednesday.
I think it's Wednesday in Australia.
There you go. All right.
Time. Yeah, it's definitely the next day in Australia.
Yeah. All right.
What time is it? Let's see. Time in Tokyo. It's 11:11 p.m. So I'm sorry, pal. You're wrong.
Yeah, I didn't think I was right, honestly. But
Yeah,
Australia, I'll take.
Yeah, definitely in Australia. Your next day. It's 12. It's actually just turned Wednesday. It's 11 minutes after midnight.
Maybe I'm in Australia. You don't know.
I enjoyed Australia. You would be outside if you were. Actually, maybe not. It's colder there. Regardless, you would be outside. It's nicer.
Okay. Am I suspended? Did I fail a drug test?
Yeah, well, going to a Kendrick concert tonight, I feel like a drug test.
Yeah, you might get the second hand, brother.
Just gonna, that's true. Honestly, probably will. Last time I went to a Kendrick concert, that definitely happened. So yeah, definitely not out of the realm of possibility here. I watched what show? Did I watch Raw last night? I don't watch any wrestling. That's all stupid.
This is a very important question. Was the black screen at work or a shoot?
Is it working today? I assume it's working today.
It was all part of the show, guys.
Yep,
it was all part of the show.
Did you like that? Did you like that?
Did you enjoy the show?
Did you enjoy the show? It's all part of the ride. We'll be back. And by the way, look who's back. We're listening to you. Look at us.
No, he wouldn't say anything like that. He wouldn't give the fans any type of credit,
No, and he'd certainly never take a photo with the returning talent and say that you wanted a back. You wanted him.
You wanted it. You wanted it. Looking like he was not happy in the slightest. That little smirk thought he was fooling somebody with that BS.
Nick made me eat that shit sandwich so bad.
Why did he take a photo with someone that never left because it was all part of the show? Like, that doesn't happen. What do you mean you wanted it? It was all part of the show. It was a storyline that he booked. So why is he doing like this return photo with him? Is that to continue to work us? But then they do the return photo, and so when he comes out and it's like, oh, it's R-Truth, he's unannounced. Well, he's not unannounced. I saw him take the photo backstage with Triple H, because we just, as usual, gotta be reminded, it's all part of the show. Everything's just part of the show. This photo they took backstage with Triple H, that's part of the show too. And the interruption, that's all part of the show. It's all part of the show. CM Punk, the tweet he put out 12 years ago, part of the show, to get him to work Saudi Arabia now. It's been less than 12 years. I apologize, but
it's been like 6.
Everything's just part of the show. That's all. That's all it is.
We'll get there.
Just don't pay attention to it. My cat wants out. Hold on.
That's fine. It's funny because Zeno Hour says more anti-Triple H comments. StreamYard's about to crash again. And I'm thinking to myself, I saw my chat kind of like shake for a second. I was like, uh-oh. I went to make sure that we're still live. Now I'm going to have this on my head all day. I'm like, are we still good? Are we still going? If you're in our Discord, I know Henry mentioned earlier that yesterday he was going to ping me. I will probably see it because I don't keep my Discord open, but I at least have the icon there so I can see if you ping me. If it happens again, just let me know. Do what SB3 did. Send me a DM. SB3 is with me now, so he won't be able to do that. Someone else will have to help.
Yeah, I'm not watching this show once I leave. So sorry.
There, honestly, I would also turn us off. There's no finger biting, so you can't turn us on.
Stop it.
Never. Hey, by the way, since you're here, you may as well get the thumbs up going. Get the pyro. There we go. You gonna get record time pyro today? Let's go. leave a thumbs up on the video. And of course, you can subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. Gets your numbers up, gets our interest up, gets your VIP points up. Let's just say that your experience points go up when you subscribe to the channel, or at least allow you to participate in this fantastic contest we have for the month of June, where the winner of the XP points that you see in the top corner, I think is the right side of your YouTube chat, if you get the top earning XP points for the month, you, yes, you, listener who wins this, will get a cameo from the one and only Brian Alvarez. You want him to say -5 stars? He'll do it. You want him to talk about Granny? He'll do it. You want him to give a Dave-like inspirational quote that also meanders and wanders off a bit? He'll do it. XP points, that's the competition this month.
One of the dumbest things we could have come up with.
The best thing we've ever done. Or you can donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. Jeremy, get the video ready. From Vala.
Okay.
Vanilla Fumble.
I'm Vanilla, baby.
Is what we call Phil Brooks, CEO of Chick-fil-A. Nice. He had even tried to show some hesitation. This wouldn't be a big deal for me if he had tried to do that. We're going to get into the CM Brooks stuff. We're going to get into the Phil Brooks, the CM Punk, will he or won't he go to Saudi Arabia story, the feelings behind it. And I see the look on SB3's face. There are some people who have the will he or won't he, and there are some people who are very firmly on the will. I get it.
Joel, that is cope. That is a coping mechanism.
And I am not telling you that I am one of those people. I am merely stating that it is something out there for certain people to hang on to just in case.
So I will be reading out my conversation with well-known CM Punk fan Jimmy McArab last night. It was hilarious.
Real quickly, I'm looking at this XP point stuff.
Yes.
I've been keeping up with it, and I check at the end of the show, and there are people who do not chat. Oh, you know what it is? It gives a different name at the end of the show, and that keeps throwing me off. So it gives the @ of the YouTube and not the username.
Then you got to look up the @ and make sure you cross-reference it with the username.
Because it keeps telling me like Henry Kuhn 16 is at the top, and I'm like, who? This person doesn't chat. That is Henry. Yeah, Henry Bowers though. That's very annoying. I don't like that. But I thought like it was like broken and that it was just not working at all. But that is apparently how it is working. Oh, all right. It's not as terrible as I thought it was. It's just it's an annoyance that makes things more difficult on me. But when we read it out at the end of the month, hopefully the person is there, or we know who the person is to make it a little bit easier. All right, continue.
It's brand new. It's a brand new thing that YouTube rolled out, and we are in. I think we're in a beta, or at least a testing phase for this. We were an early adopter, so we decided let's try it.
It's something. I don't know if it's good, but somebody can at least profit with a $7 Brian Alvarez cameo off of it.
I don't know who that's going to be more fun for, us or the winner.
Not the winner. It's an awful prize if we're being honest, but it's funny. So,
guys, did you saw the big breaking news that dropped this morning?
Oh no.
The National Wrestling Alliance has a new streaming home.
New.
It is if you're on deadline.
This was announced like 2 weeks ago.
NWA on Roku. There it is. Yeah, it's now part of the larger part of the conversation.
Yeah, it's not anything new, I didn't think. I thought it was the same announcement that they already made.
When did they make it? At a TV taping?
No, they made it in Variety.
That's hilarious because now they've done a whole deadline launch with this, like a whole deadline.
I mean, let me see if it's the same thing, because I haven't checked the deadline on it, because I saw it and I was like, isn't this the same thing they already announced? Like, what are we doing here?
They will be on Tuesday at 8 p.m. on the Roku channel.
I think that might be that that portion might be new, is like when they're actually airing.
Yeah, starting
because-
July
They're-
29th.
They were so pissed by NXT taking their CW deal. They're counter programming NXT. That's brave of them.
Very, very brave. So we look forward to SB3's Z Suites coming to this channel.
Nah,
Actually,
look,
if you want the Z Suite, you can listen to the Weekender podcast every weekend.
Yeah. I'll let Jensen watch NWA, brother.
The D Suite.
Yeah, deal with Roku. Da-da-da. It doesn't say anything about the because it was part of like another streaming thing on Roku, because it was going to be on WoW as well. Now it just says it's on Roku channel, or it wasn't going to be on WoW. Sorry, it was going to be like a wrestling centric channel. It was called like the Roku Fast channel. It was going to be called Wrestling Central, and it was going to be NWA and WoW. Now, like, there's no mention of that in this Deadline article, and it does say like at least there is like a start date for it, and I guess a time of when. It's not even, is it Power though? It just says NWA matches streaming free every Tuesday at 8.
Has
Oh,
Power
it
even
does
been
say-
the name of the show for the last like when did
It's been called Power. It's just
Yeah.
been airing on Twitter. Yeah. And it has expanded its programming as well as weekly broadcasts. Oh no, that doesn't say anything.
Did they bring back Into the Fire?
I have legitimately, they did for a little while because people were so mad about it. I tried to watch NWA way back when as like a joking review because I thought it'd be funny. This show is just bad. Like, it's not even like funny bad. It's not even something where I can watch it and be like, ha ha ha, like this show is so bad that it's hilarious. Like, it's just like not a very good wrestling show. And to that and that's the worst, right? That's what I always say is if you either be the greatest ever or be the worst ever, but don't just be like bad to where you're almost offensive or just good to where I've seen it a million times. Like you gotta pick one extreme or the other.
Yeah.
You've upset the singular NWA viewer in our audience, by the way.
Damn.
I hope you're
They're-
happy. They're not here, but
Oh.
they've commented before.
We've interviewed Billy Corgan, a nice guy. He sings one of my favorite songs ever, "Creep," and we asked him about the cocaine spot, and he was very, very fun with that. I think Billy has like off the wall ideas that could be very funny. They just don't see the light of day on NWA. He's like trying to do a straightforward wrestling program, which is like fine in one aspect, but the problem is they just don't have like the best talent in the world. They have good talent, but they don't have like the best talent in the world. So it's tough to do a straightforward wrestling program when a lot of the best talent or the good talent that you would want are elsewhere. Like the Tyrus reign was horrible, but at least I was getting some god awful match that like I could make fun of out of that. Like Tom Lattimore,
that was so bad that it kind of eroded their whole audience.
yeah, it did. It 100% did. Like Tom Lattimore is just like he's fine. There's nothing wrong with Tom Lattimore. He's fine, but just fine like doesn't really move the needle or anything. Whatever. I'm not gonna watch NWA on Roku. Sorry.
Neither am I, but you know what? I'll say this. The NWA was at its most popular when they brought in cocaine. That's when people really paid attention to the NWA, for better or for worse. Come on, it's true. Yeah,
They were at their most popular when they had Eddie Kingston.
no.
Yeah. They were at their most popular during the early power run.
No one
Ricky,
remembers. No one
Cody
remembers.
And the Rosa.
No one remembers Shoes of a Champion. Not important. We're making a point here. Cocaine. They need to move into the new drugs. They need to get into the fentanyl. That's what they need. They need Father James Mitchell peddling the latest designer drugs. That's going to make them money.
I think if they went the direction of like Wrestling Society X, I think that would be the best way for them to book NWA right now.
The X stands for ecstasy. We're basically making Ring of Hallucinations, but we're
No,
doing.
I wanted the NWA pencil. I'll take that because they were gonna always just fight over drugs. Remember that was one of my ideas for the NWA. So I'll take the NWA pencil. I deserve better. I deserve at least Ring of Hallucinations, but I will take the NWA pencil just to get my ideas out there. Yeah, that was hilarious.
All timer. You can go to hell, that guy, Donut. You can go to hell.
Mr. Hat out here telling him to go to hell and you die. That was so funny. That was the same show as the cocaine show.
Yes,
they peaked. They did, the best run was Eddie, Ricky, LA Knight, all this and all that.
Of course.
But the peak, the absolute peak was that show.
It was like a blip. And otherwise, it was like this. They went down after they lost all those guys in the pandemic. And then the blimp, the only blimp since then has been the cocaine show.
God bless. That show was in Cleveland too.
Yeah,
it was at the Masonic Temple. Yeah, you should have been there. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
NWA reviews with SP3 and Kate to replace the ROH reviews.
Boy,
you guys are asking for way too much. Way too much for me. I watch enough for Tuesday.
It's on a Tuesday. You're not watching NXT, so you'd be okay.
I go to sleep. That's what I do. I go to sleep at like 7 o'clock y'all time on Tuesdays. Tuesday is my Tuesday and Thursdays are my days to go to sleep early, unless Collision's on Thursday. I go to sleep early on those days.
Amazing.
They would not last long doing an NWA review. I'm sorry.
No.
Kate would crash out very quickly. It'd be
it's not funny enough to last long. It's
like Ring of Honor. Yeah, it's like Ring of Honor.
I mean, that legitimately, it was one of the problems with Ring of Honor. Is it's just like, okay, cool, here's another good wrestling match. It's in ROH is the Michael Jordan of Latrell Sprewells.
Wow, what a quote! What a quote right there. The Michael Jordan of Latrell Sprewells.
ROH is what, and NWA is the Latrell Sprewells of Michael Jordans. My point is, they're the same show in terms of quality and like what you're going to get. Not in terms of quality. I hope people, I'll try to better explain this. ROH is good. Like, there's good wrestling. There's nothing wrong with the show. It's very straightforward, but not a whole lot happens. And it's not like the top tier of excellence. You know what I mean? It's not AEW. NWA is fine. The matches are fine. The stuff is fine. Not a whole lot happens, but it's not bad enough to be what's like the worst wrestling promotion ever. NWA back when Tyrus was the champion.
The XWF or XPW.
XPW's up there.
XPW, yeah. But that's what it is though. Like they're on opposite ends of how good they are, but they're fine. Yeah,
that's the answer. Yeah,
they didn't actually run like a show though, did they? They ran like one show.
Yeah. They ran a few shows.
They're just like, both companies are just like fine. ROH is better in quality, but you don't get like greatness out of ROH on the weekly show. You just get good matches. That's it. And NWA is like okay, but you don't get like the worst stuff ever on that show. You just get okay matches. They're in the same boat here. Obviously ROH is like better, but
they're both inconsequential. Very unimportant.
I have nothing but respect for Latrell Sprewell, the infamous Sammer. We're going through it right now, but we're fine. We're going through it as Thunder fans. He's a huge Latrell Sprewell fan. He would jack up Latrell Sprewell's ratings on 2K, and was Latrell Sprewell killing me out? He doesn't shoot this well from 3. it would just jack up his ratings on 2K and just destroy. It was very sad, but
Nice.
Latrell Sprewell is he's very good. I like Latrell, the
They
original
did.
chunk artist.
They did 7 events, and then a couple of.
That's a lie.
It's not like
See?
that's the
That's
thing.
way
So,
more.
so CYN didn't exactly do. So they're listed as 10. A couple of them were conglomerates with AML and GLCW, but then they have 7 standalone events. But I'm pretty sure like one of them is Scraps #1, and it's got 1 match on it. So I don't think
Yeah.
that's a thing. It was a stream with 1 match, but there was Free the Narrative and Free the Narrative 2. Those were the main ones that people know, because the second one I think introduced the infamous rant room, where you could go and air your Festivus grievances for $50.
Wait, y'all watch these shows?
No.
I've never
No.
watched these
We
shows.
talked about them though.
We talked about him. I'm looking at Cage Match, and people followed at the time because it was still the pandemic. It was 2021. People were like, because it was Florida, so you could do whatever in Florida because it's a trash fire. Instead, people were going to these rant rooms for $50, and you could yell at Braun Strowman and tell him, I don't know, you suck, LOL. And they'll be like, well, I'm rich and I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. What'd you do, kid? And it would just be that for $50. Buy a t-shirt, for Christ's sake. Anyway, now that that's come and gone, and I'm never going to Florida.
Thank God for that, right?
I will be back shortly. I'm gonna hang out off stage.
All right. I wonder if he's going to Florida. God, I hope not. He's gonna change his background to like Miami. Come back with a hat, and a cigar.
It's a cigar.
It's gonna be awful.
A fedora. Yeah.
I'm so scared. I don't want to know what he's gonna do. Before we hop into Raw, is there anything from the weekend that you want to touch on? Because I know you haven't been on the show since Thursday, and a lot has happened since then. Is there anything you need to talk about from the weekend in wrestling before we talk about the Monday Night Raw episode from last night, where so many things happened you could barely keep track?
Well, I did pop in on what was it, Friday?
You did.
My internet tried to prevent me from doing that.
That's right.
And I saw somebody in the Twitter said, "Bro, sacrificing sleep for Collision." Well, first of all, dummy, I get paid to watch wrestling, so it's not really sacrificing sleep. It's basically working. And secondly, you sacrifice sleep to watch shows that you just hate on and complain in our chat about. So congratulations. Anyway,
King Potato is a legend. You let King Potato live.
Yeah, I know. I've seen King Potato. I like the guy. He does complain about wrestling a whole lot.
That's true.
But
by the way, Chris, enjoy Florida, and I'm also sorry that you're having to go to Florida.
But SmackDown, I love the trios matchup with the women's Money in the Bank participants. That was a lot of fun. Otherwise, the show was another 3-hour SmackDown, which the high end is a 6 out of 10, and this was another 6 out of 10 type show. Then with Worlds Collide, I really enjoyed that show. I enjoyed that show way more than my expectations had for it. My expectations were kept low, but they kind of overexceed my expectations. Conan made me pop the whole night. I was asking my missus if there was any alcohol in our house, I can take shots every time he said, "Can I say something? Can I say something? He's like raising his hand. Can I say something? Can I tell you something?" I wanted to take shots for that because I would have been drunk before Money in the Bank started, and that would have been an even better show for me. I thought Worlds Collide also outdid overall Money in the Bank. I thought Money in the Bank had more moments, but as far as a wrestling kind of premium live event pay-per-view, I thought Worlds Collide was the better of the two shows, especially the final 2 matches, the 4-way. Thought Javon Evans was an absolute superstar. Ethan Page was a great base for the High Flyers. And then the main event with El Hijo del Vikingo versus Chad Gable was excellent. I thought Chad Gable really showed why he's the most underrated professional wrestler in WWE today, while Vikingo is just the next great high flyer of Lucha Libre, and that was an awesome showcase for him in that main event matchup. And of course, Mr. Iguana, I'm a part of the Mr. Iguana movement, who was the biggest star of that whole entire show. Then Money in the Bank. I was disappointed by the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't know about anybody else, but I had high expectations because of the talent. I thought this was one of the most stacked, most talented lineups for a women's Money in the Bank ladder match of all time. And I just thought it was a fun yet forgettable matchup. No big spots, which I don't want these women to kill each other and anything like that. And I guess they saved most of the big spots for the men's matchup. But this was in the low end to middle end of Money in the Bank ladder matches all time. And I thought the lineup was a generational lineup that could have been one of the best women's Money in the Bank ladder matches. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was a good match. I just expected it to be great and excellent. And it wasn't that. The Octagon Jr. versus Dominic Mysterio was hilarious because that was just WWE just getting their win back from one of the 2 wins they got on Worlds Collide. So that popped me, even though it really shouldn't have been on the card because they gave him less than 5 minutes. Becky Lynch.
How dare you? How dare you? Because Octagon Jr., he is a TNA talent, is what he is in this case. And TNA wrestlers, the luchadors, they do one thing, they lose. So they were just keeping up appearances. How dare you? Continue.
Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria might be the best women's feud WWE's had in like 3-4 years. Like, they have just gone out there every single time, had great matches. It's elevating Lyra Valkyria. It's elevating the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. And it's making all the Becky Hogan and Becky haters out there look stupid. Put some respect on my best friend, Rebecca Quinn's name. I am in her phone book as Mr. Sports Illustrated. She is in my phone book as Rebecca Quinn. She's my best friend. Put some respect on her name. Great matchup.
What does Seth think of that?
I don't care about Kobe.
I mean, being in her phone like that, miserable. This feels
my wife. She goes on FaceTime with me, my wife, and my kids. You know, she knows my kids, and Rue talks to my kids. You know, Harlem and Rue, they're best friends. Then
hold on. This is an interaction that the world would need to see. I'm not at all advocating for it because I don't think kids need to be, put up on the internet and all that stuff. I'm not that person, but that is just curiosity abound. Gotta see it.
The ultimate baby heel versus baby face with Rue is the baby face, and obviously know here on In the Weeds, the true heel of them all is Harlem. I'm just
trying to see something. That's all.
The men's Money in the Bank ladder match, I thought, was the better of the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches because they took more risks. It was more big pops, more big spots in that matchup. It was very, very well done, very well laid out. I love the big moment with Jacob Fatu turning on Solo Sikoa. And any other night, that would have been the biggest talking point from the whole entire show. But of course, something would happen later in the show that would take all the headlines. But really great moment for Jacob Fatu to kind of take that next step in his progression. And I thought Americano, I thought Penta, and I thought Andrade really carried that matchup. They were just going crazy at certain points in the matchup. LA Knight, he just always seems like he gets the short end of the stick. This was the perfect opportunity to finally give LA Knight, just throw him a bone. It was like now or never for LA Knight, and they just decided, no, it's never. Steph's going to win. So that was a little bit disappointing, and I understand the people that prefer the women's Money in the Bank over the men's Money in the Bank, mostly because all I've seen online or from most of the people that I've seen talk about it, they prefer the winner of the women's Money in the Bank over the men's Money in the Bank. Naomi is definitely the better winner. I've been a big advocate of Naomi for months, years, and y'all all know that. She's the best character in the women's division. That was the right choice. Seth winning the Money in the Bank doesn't seem like he even needed that at all, but here we are. And then the main event started very slow. It was going on the edge of what John Cena matches are now, of boring slogfest, and then a couple of finishers at the end to excite the crowd and then go home. But the R-Truth appearance really took things to the next level and gave us a very memorable ending to the show. That generational pop that he got was fantastic. Really loved that for R-Truth. And I thought that coming out of Money in the Bank, if I just stopped watching everything, or if WWE just stopped doing content after that, and they just did a post show with Big E and Peter Rosenberg and Vic Joseph talking about the show, and then some people coming up to them to be interviewed, like Cody and Jay and Naomi, those were great stuff on the post show. If they didn't have anything from the press conference outside of Becky Lynch, I think that we would all be coming out of this past weekend like, oh my God, WWE, listen to the fans. WWE, they're great. They are they're back. We got the WWE good vibes back. But then Triple H had to do a press conference as well, and that's where most of the talking points went from. Like, you could have talked about the whole pay-per-view and all the different moments, but no, you were focused in on R-Truth's return and then Triple H's response to it. And all the news that came out because of that. So,
and yesterday,
my thoughts on the weekend.
Good, thank you for the recap. Yesterday, people were asking, "Oh, why isn't Truth the thumbnail?" And I said, because Truth was completely overshadowed by this stupidity. That's what it was, and that's why we talked about it. Because also, Jeremy and I have a penchant for talking about the pressers, good or bad. And when Paul puts his foot in his mouth, as he often does in these things, when faced with a very easy answer to a question, he needs to be talked about. And this was one of those things. I know he probably loves that he's the center of attention, but that's why he was the guy on the thumbnail yesterday. That's it. That's the reason why. Because he just like you said, SB3, when they put on these stupid pressers, more often than not, nothing good comes of it from a content standpoint. And it's funny because now I think about, how we were not in the room for the WrestleMania presser, and there was a mix of reactions. There was, at the time, I was annoyed because I thought we should be in the room to ask those questions. And then the other part of me was just like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to be in the room, because 9 times out of 10, it's stupid. 9 times out of 10, like, the kayfabe is one thing, but just the way that the media are treated in that room, not that we're treated poorly, but it's not like there's any seriousness to it. And therefore, why should I, who is trying to be a little bit more serious at these events, why should I try to be more serious in a place that's not letting me be serious? So why should I care? I'm annoyed because I don't get to be there to ask questions that our fan base want us to ask, or to maybe confirm some of the reporting that we've had, to at least try to have those questions asked. That's why I'm annoyed, because from a journalistic standpoint, or at least from a attempting to be a good media representative, that stuff annoys me. But then I also see what happens after these events, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to be there. It's the same thing with, like, next year going to WrestleMania. People are like, going back to Vegas. That's one feeling. My feeling with the going back to Vegas thing is, well, first of all, the state of the U.S. is not exactly making me want to go anywhere near that country for the next, 2 years at least. That I've made very clear. On the other hand, I feel like if I do Vegas, I'm of two mindsets. Take the politics of the U.S. out right now, which is, I know it's huge, but just for the sake of the conversation and the job, there's a part of me that if I was asked to go back to represent Fightful for WrestleMania week, the part of me that says yes is the one that knows he could do better than what he did, and the one that can bring more than he brought from the last one. I have the experience of having done it. I have the experience of meeting people. I have the experience of reaching out and getting some stuff done. I could do more. I can always do more. And if it's the same person doing it the second time in a row, there's a better face to this whole thing. I feel like I can do more. Yeah. But it's still the States, and it's still 18 months. But it's Vegas. Vegas is a giant pain in the ass at the best of times. So anyway, all this to say.
Also very true.
Yeah.
But like, this is like I saw Zeno Hour, which I respect all, everybody's opinion. Everybody's entitled to opinion. He said, I still think the comment is overblown. It's not overblown when you really think about it in the overarching of all these comments that Triple H has said in these post press conferences, because what I thought at the time was overblown was the reaction to what Tony Khan says at post-show pressers. But I tend to kind of lean in the middle now, where I understand where people were critical of, like, answers to Chris Jericho questions back in December of 2023, or questions to like serious matters like Brawl Out and stuff like that, where he kind of skates around the issue. There's always a better way for these guys to answer this stuff. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of the stuff that we remember the most from Tony Khan at press conferences are hilarious stuff. Like Joel knows, like the stuff I play on AE Ramble every week. I'm not gonna sit back and take this fucking shit. Like that's hilarious. That's one of the most hilarious comments ever said at a post-show media scrum. And that should never be said by the president of the company, but it's hilarious.
And you hope for some of those moments for the sake of like for the content.
Yes. This stuff that Triple H does, though, these are hand in palm, cringe like things. When someone asks you about a lawsuit against your company and you say, I didn't read the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, did anyone talk to this guy and like tell him what's the wrong and right way to answer that type of question? When he's getting criticism about his booking of African-American superstars and he says, I don't see color. In the same press conference that had Cody Rhodes, who gave the correct answer to that in the past and could have told him that is not the right way to address this, and he still said that. And then to double it up, this is not the first time that Triple H has said a comment trying to discredit media. Remember the whole thing that happened in France at Backlash that had Sean being sent gifts from WWE because he tried to discredit the media then. And then this line here, it's not overblown. It is being rightfully criticized because it's another attempt at him trying to discredit media. And not only that, he's trying to discredit one of the stars on his roster by claiming that this is part of the show, that him being told that his contract is not renewed is part of the show. And I guarantee you, I will say, I believe that some people on the roster don't like the fact he said that. I tend to believe that when you know the real human emotion that went into things and the fact that you were alluding to you trying to work your locker room, that is never good morale. So no, it's not being overblown. It is being rightfully criticized because it is bigger than what you think.
Yeah, and we've done it across all industry members. No one is immune to us talking about how someone reacts to a story or reacts to a press conference or anything like that. Tony Khan was a similar way. For a long time, we were like, you got to stop doing 2-hour pressers where you answer every question and you dance around the subject in some cases. Triple H, Paul does a similar deal, but it's different. Again, they both suck at it, but at least one of them has had somebody, and I can say this credibly, coaching him to not only shorten the press conferences, but also to refine your answers to something that's a little more tangible and not just repetitive. It seems like Paul, every single time you put him in front of a camera and a microphone at one of these events, it turns to shit real quick. To put it
he reversed to mid-2000s Triple H talking to Carlito on the mic.
Yeah, but he thinks he's the promoter now, and he thinks he's the promoter from the 80s who needs to pull the curtain back, even though he's the first guy to tell you about this new Netflix special about pulling the curtain back and showing you creative. And that's why I have very low expectations for that particular show. I don't expect it to pull any curtain back. It's going to be a very WWE cleaned up version of the Road to WrestleMania, just like the Rock documentary. You think the Rock's the WrestleMania 40 documentary that took forever to come out because The Rock wanted to clean it up, you think that was bad? This Netflix special, it's going to be the other version of this, now with Triple H, now with Paul and his crew cleaning up whatever they need to make them look good and facilitate / make up a few storylines that caused internal drama that weren't actually dramatic at all. That's what I expect out of that. I don't care anymore. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, so I just find it hilarious that stuff like this, stuff like the whole entire R-Truth story has basically opened up the eyes of like a newer generation of fans to something that like guys like me and you and Jeremy and a lot of people in the chat have known for like 3 decades. That Triple H is not this good guy that he tries to make himself out to be.
I question I question whether or not that's true. I mean, I understand the feeling and why anyone would want it to feel that way, but I don't think it's going to accomplish that. I think that certain people, again, have the belief that, oh, I took a photo with them and I said I listened to you on social, therefore it negates everything I said in this presser. That you didn't see the press most people, let's be honest.
Saw
that's true. Most people didn't see it, but a lot of people saw the tweet of him and Truth and him cleaning up, be like, oh, we listened to you, we're great.
But I'm not even going by like response. I'm going by I read the comment section for that R-Truth picture, and it was majority. It was like 90% people ripping into Triple H and responding harshly, like, you didn't want him back.
There is that loud minority that people talk about that we are a part of. It's not as small as it used to be. I could put it like that, because now everyone's on the internet. Now everyone has access to wrestling websites with news. Hopefully they find, proper news and not the fake stuff that's just made up and thrown against the wall. Hopefully they find the right sources that talk about it, because those become smarter fans. And I'm not talking smart as in we know all the results to everything right away, but no, smarter in that they're thinking about what pro wrestling is beyond just what you're seeing in front of you on the shows and what's going on in the arenas. Kim Gray sends a super chat saying, Joel, before I go to the beach, I had to tell you, at EPW Wrestling Saturday night in Mississippi, people were chanting, we want truth. Powerful, but futile. I don't think it was futile. I think that the idea here was that they wanted to show their support for truth regardless of where they were, and also probably tell the people at EPW that they want truth to be on their card, which fully understandable. And who knows, that could happen given the deal that R-Truth has and whatever he chooses to do next. So I don't consider it futile as much as I think it's just different. So I hope you enjoy Florida. I saw that you're over there, Kim. Hopefully it's a good time. Enjoy the beach.
I want to jump in. I'm actually listening to the show. You can
Why?
me later. I don't know. I'm doing dishes and stuff.
No, I understand. You know what? No, you know what? I get it.
We're good. We're good. Dishes audio.
Yeah.
I used to tell people when WWE was like booked its worst, Pulowski was the perfect rage cleaning background music you could think of. You could just do everything. The man made you want to fly and do everything in your apartment in that time frame. So I understand.
So I wanted to jump in because I heard the discussion you were having, and I heard SB3 say like 95% of the comments under the Triple H post were, you didn't want him back, and show us, smile with gritted teeth and everything. Like, and Joel, I heard your part about like the audience that they're playing to. I'm going to kind of repeat what I said yesterday, but Triple H, when he's trying to do, it's all part of the show, and he's trying to discredit media, like, I think that works for him. I don't know how much it works, but I understand, again, what he's trying to do with that. And I think there will be a section of the online fan base who are always going to be like, yeah, Triple H, yeah, exactly, the dirt sheets are wrong, but there's definitely going to be that section. The difference between that and what's happening here is you have R-Truth coming out and saying no work, and you have the actual wrestlers who showed their sympathy for R-Truth, and it's like, how could this happen? So you're not dividing Triple H in this case. Triple H isn't dividing online fans from the WWE / himself and the wrestling media and trying to get everybody on his side. He's dividing the fans from himself and the wrestler that they were chanting for to bring back, because the wrestler himself came out and said, yeah, this isn't a work. And that's why I think you saw so many comments under his post of like, you didn't want him back, because the wrestler himself came out and said, yeah, this wasn't a work. Like, this was you guys chanting to bring me back. And I think that's the biggest difference between this and his past comments where he's tried to divide media from the company.
No, we love listening to you guys. You guys are the fans of the best. That's why we're going to present WrestleMania Vegas in your house next year. It's going to be in one of your houses. It'll be WrestleMania Night 2. So get ready for that. It's going to be a really good show. Get ready for that. Why does he have such a shitbag voice?
Why? What is your voices are god awful. Everyone knows this already.
Because the idea is that if you're gonna do them, either do them just like NWA, you're either gonna do them really, really well, or you're gonna do them so bad that people
You
talk
at least
about
do
it.
them very bad.
That's it.
I will give you credit.
It is hilarious how bad they do it.
I'll give you credit for how bad
I
they
usually
are.
would step in when it's the Triple H voice, but I like hearing yours. Your rendition.
Yeah,
It's just a smarmy
bad.
asshole.
It is. Somebody pointed this out yesterday. Maybe it was Pile Driver Finisher yesterday as well. But it's very like Triple H, Eric Cartman. It's very Eric Cartman, like trying to do like a Triple H.
You guys, I'm going to WrestleMania.
All right, I'm gonna go back to dishes. Once you guys start talking about CM Punk, then I'll jump back on.
Sounds good. Let's talk about Raw. Too much stuff happened. Let's start with Ron Killings because he came out. Can we agree? Too much stuff happened on Raw for a change. The old formula used to be 2.5 things. This is something I used to talk about. This was the what's his name? Oh my god, who used to produce the damn show? Come on, Bucky. Come on, Big Teeth. Come on. Who was the EP? Who was the executive producer of Raw?
Oh, Kevin Dunn.
Kevin Dunn. Thank you. He's been gone long enough. I don't have to think about his name. The old Kevin Dunn model used to be leave them with 2.5 things to remember from Raw. It used to be 2 major things, 2 major storylines, and 1 thing that you're like half in. Though this episode just blew that out. They just went like, let's give him everything. That'll make him forget about everything that happened last week.
The key to having a great Raw episode, because I think this was the best Raw since the Raw after WrestleMania, is when Triple H gets a lot of criticism, he always knows how to have a great episode of wrestling television. It's always I said that after the Raw after WrestleMania. I was like, Triple H heard us all complaining about WrestleMania and his stupid comments before Mania, and he was like, you know what? Put my dick on the table. Here's a great episode. You got Seth and Braun and Paul Heyman. You had Stephanie Vaquer on the show. You had Rusev made his return. You had Cena and Orton get set up. That was like 4 or 5 things happened on that episode of Raw. And I agree. This was another episode where more than one thing. This was a combination of great story progression as well as great matches in the ring, which made for one of the better episodes of Monday Night Raw last night.
Yeah, it was a here damn moment. And then also realize you also realize that your next big event is in 2 weeks. So you're like, oh, got to get on that shit again. We're basically running into like every 2 weeks now until SummerSlam is a big event. So, all right.
Well, after Evolution, I think there's like 3 weeks until SummerSlam. So
makes the big difference sometimes.
A big difference. That's like the most build we've gotten to any show is from WrestleMania to Backlash was 3 weeks, and from Evolution to SummerSlam is 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, like Raw was solid. My big criticism is just like it's one of those almost too much stuff happened, which I guess you can call it an embarrassment of riches. But as I'm making my notes, I'm just like, this happened. Oh shit, this happened. Oh shit, this happened. Oh shit, this happened. And no. Like, what is the front page? And to me, I go with the Punk Saudi stuff because there is a larger conversation at play for this particular show. Again, storyline. And the news is what we tend to talk about the most on the show. Match quality wise, there was great stuff. Like I see Jay Grylls just being like the quote unquote worst thing was the AJ Gable match being a good match, and that's it. That's like,
it was fine,
and it was a fine match. Like it wasn't bad. It was just so much happens. Ron Killing comes back because we're talking about Ron and all the truth stuff and the Triple H stuff. So Ron Killings comes back. He's got he brings back his hooded figure, gets on the announce table, gets his microphone, takes it all off, and then he cuts his great promo. And I'll let you. I know you remember more of it than I do because, God, you have a good mind for that. But really, he capitalizes it all by telling you all the truth is gone. He is Ron Killings again, and the statement makes he cuts his hair. Takes out those scissors. He cuts off his dreads. Hell of a moment.
Quite surprised.
I can't tell you that I was surprised, but I can't tell you I was shocked.
No.
He's 53. He's been doing this for a long time.
And he's been balding for a little bit now.
Yeah, his hair's he's got that receding hairline, and I was just like, you know what, Truth, good for you. You knew it was time. You knew it was time, and you look good. You look good without him. Good for you. I thought this was really good. Talk to me about this because I thought that this was really strong stuff on a Raw that had a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I thought this was one of the better moments of the night. Like I love the fact that he brought some of his kind of delivery that made his character in NWA TNA back in 2002 made it so memorable, as well as a little bit of his 2011 heel turn. You kind of heard that same delivery. He started off very earnest, kind of talking to the fans, saying, kind of repeating what he said in the reply to Lovely LaView or earlier in the day, where he was like, they heard you, they felt you, they understood you. I'm back because of all of you. But R-Truth is someone that is a little too funny, is a little too nice. So I can't do that anymore. I can't be that anymore. I'm not only back for you, I'm back for me. And basically this was one of his best promos that he's ever delivered in WWE. This really felt like a person that was talking from the heart, talking with a lot of passion, talking with a lot of emotion. And not only were the fans moved by his words, they were moved by his actions. I love the fact that the camera kind of went over to the crowd, and you can see people are like audibly gasping when he starts cutting his hair, his signature dreads, and we're like, what the hell? They just made these shirts with you and dreads, and now you're cutting your hair. And I had some people who was like, he said he wasn't going to be funny anymore, and I'm laughing at this. This is hilarious. But no, this was really well done. I thought the only thing that I would have liked it to change or been different about it is they don't announce that he's on the show. Like, I think that would have been, I know, like, yeah, it's going to be a draw that he's going to be speaking on the show, but I wish they would have made it a little bit vaguer and said, will R-Truth show up or something like that? Not announce R-Truth will speak for the first time on the show. So, to say what he actually said, he said, don't let nobody tell you that you don't matter. Don't let nobody tell you that your voices doesn't matter. They heard, they listened, they felt, and they understood. I am back because of y'all. He reiterated that he was back, but he's also back for himself. Not only did you bring Truth back, you got me. They all loved R-Truth, but he could be too funny and forgiving, but he wasn't. He felt different. He felt alive. He wasn't a lie. He wasn't a sideshow act. He wasn't a gimmick. He pulled out a pair of scissors and cuts his hair. You get the holy shit chants from the crowd. And then he says, the truth has set me free. I am Ron Killings. I am the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And now put some respect on my name. And that even moved Michael Cole. Michael Cole started clapping for him, like, oh yeah, let's go. Like this was an excellent promo. I'm cautiously optimistic on what's next, because I think that it was telling that he wasn't involved in anything with John Cena. So I don't know what the direction's going to be for him next. If it was like directly him kind of responding to Cena earlier in the night or something like that, I would have been like a little bit more optimistic. So I'll be cautiously optimistic for now. But this was a great start. This felt like a fresh start of a new chapter of R-Truth's career, and all the fallout, all the news that we heard, like Dave Meltzer saying that he was able to basically get his name in the negotiations. And I was like, yo, that's awesome. The fans gave him the negotiation power. He basically, like, to a stone, his contract's not renewed. They took all the negotiating power from him, and then the fans gave it back to him, where he's able to set himself for the life after WWE. This is just great to hear, and great to see him with so much passion and being very motivated in this new chapter for him.
There was one shirt that they released, and I was like, I hope nobody buys this one. I like the shirts, but there's the Killings Spree one. I was like, let's not do that one. Let's not make that.
That's straight up Chat GPT.
Yeah. It was like, no, not this one, not right now. Yeah, it was a very powerful promo. So I'm of two mindsets when it comes to what Truth's doing. One is, first of all, from a storyline standpoint, there's a part of me that thinks he's just going to join his hero John Cena. I think that might be the play for him right now, at least. And then when John turns back to a babyface, because it's inevitable before he goes, well, so does Ron Killings, and he gets his send off around the same time or just past Cena's. that could be fun. That could be something. It keeps the John Cena's biggest fan, blah blah blah. And I do think that there's a world where he joins up with John Cena, maybe costs CM Punk their match, or beforehand, because who knows if CM Punk's going to Saudi Arabia. Oh, but
smoke on that coat.
It's
Smoke
so
on that coat, man.
It's so good. Oh, so good. Or there's the other side of it. So when Truth was released, the people who wanted Truth to come back, are those fans going to be on the same ride of serious Ron Killings doing his thing as they were to silly R-Truth, who was kind of a comedy player, not super at the forefront until the end of this recent run, and then everything happened that kind of changed the dynamic of what people thought about Truth? But are they going to be onto this new character or whatever he's trying to be, this serious Truth? Or are they going to be like, no, what happened to we wanted our Truth. We wanted like Judgment Day jokey guy. We wanted, little Jimmy guy. What is this? That is a question that I have that we're not going to get an answer to until it plays out. But that's my one thing where I'm like, what does it look like for those fans who are like, this isn't what I wanted. What are we doing with this guy? So I'm curious, like what is the new Truth character, the new Ron Killings character look like? It should look like his old character, quite frankly, not the Truth one, the Ron Killings one. And character-wise, who does he side with?
I'm hoping they don't directly just have him join up with Cena, because I feel like that would be very tone deaf, and that would show Triple H's cards a little bit too much to me. Let's die this hole down. Let's calm these fans down. Let's turn them heel, have them side with Cena. I think that would be just him trying to reverse whatever momentum that Truth has with the fans behind him, and the fans reacted well to getting behind him last night. He's gonna have a whole different look now that he's cut off his hair, so that's gonna be something new, something different about him. And I think that if they continue to position him against the heels, but in the matter of he runs in to kind of make the save, he's the hero, he's the Dark Knight, the suntan Superman of WWE, and he comes in and he rights wrongs when Cena's about to cheat. He helps out the babyface and helps them get the victory, or Seth and his faction try to cheat and he helps out the baby faces there. I think if they use him in this fashion, you don't even have to use him in matches, but have him just run in and make the save and stuff like that, like Zeno Hour said, like a Sting like character. I think that will be the best way to maintain the momentum that he has right now without having to directly put him into these main event matches and whatnot that Triple H might not want to use him in. Use him in this kind of a superhero and run-in type of guy for a while. I think you can get like 3 to 4 months out of that.
Yeah, there again, it's not a long-term deal that I expect. We don't know the terms of Killings' deal. We do know that the hope is for him that this is a proper send-off for him, and then he goes off and does whatever appearances he chooses to do, whether that's wrestling or conventions, appearances, if he wants to go into acting. I don't know if that's whatever he wants to do. The idea here is that there is some respect on his last chapter as an active performer. He gets to go out, not necessarily on top, but certainly in a story that has some juice behind it. And he's not just someone's third, fourth, fifth. Again, I would have been fine with him having his last match against JC Mateo and saying your son is husky, and that's fine. I liked that. I liked his last lines on SmackDown being, "Mind if I take your husky son out to the ring and show him a lesson?" Shit like that. That was the truth to me. But I also loved Ron Killings, and I loved the NWA TNA champion Ron Killings. Like, there was a time for that, and I think that you can bring it back because he can still work and he can still move. I like I said, I'm not so sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised that he goes back and works with John, and they maybe work together and go from there. Maybe Ron stays the heel, and Cena starts his babyface turn because Ron thinks that it all's lost and I can't get my hero back. So you never meet your heroes; they'll all become your enemies. Maybe that's it. Who knows? But regardless, it's nice to see that he got the win, both from the financial aspect and from the character aspect. I like seeing that for Killings. We'll see what they do. But he's one thing I love, cuts the dreads. he did not let those things go. He did a backstager and he's carrying them around. And I'm like, no, he knows that those things are money in his hand.
Absolutely.
And Sean made the joke about Topsy getting on the phone trying to get those dreads. And I'm like, yeah, no, Truth knows. Like Ron knows that this is gold in his hands. It's great.
It's gold. It's got gold tips. It's gold. It's money within itself right there. Yeah, there's a lot of directions that they can go that would be very interesting. Like WWE has to capitalize on the momentum that they have with Ron Killings right now and try to make as much money as possible. I think that this can go down as one of the better kind of final runs for him. He's gonna have, his opportunity to go out into the sunset in a major storyline of some way. The fans are behind him, so they just need to capitalize, keep focus on him, keep him in the spotlight in some way. They don't have to push him and him become. I've seen people being like he could be the one who could dethrone Cena for the WWE Championship. I think we're setting our expectations way too high. I think whenever people say stuff like that, I'm just like, you're just setting your expectations. You're just setting yourself up for WWE to disappoint you. Let's just make sure he's still in the spotlight, still involved in a major storyline, and then see where they take us on the ride. Enjoy the ride while it happens, and hopefully, keep on that path. So I'm happy for Ron. I'm happy that he's back and he seems motivated for this new run. The whole entire handling of this situation on Triple H's part does not sound good in the least bit. And thank God they have Nick Khan. Nick Khan stepped in at the final hour and was like I'll take it from here. I'll take it from here.
Paul, go shoot.
I gave you the budget and you decided to cut a guy that the fans actually like, so let me take care of it. You just handle the booking, sir.
Paul, go to Allegiant, go to Vegas, go stand on the Allegiant the roof, go shoot your commercial with your guys. I'll take care of Ron. Don't worry about him. He's fine.
I'll take it from here. No
No
wonder. I was wondering during Worlds Collide, I was like, why does Triple H look so angry during the Mexican national anthem? I was like, does he not?
That's a racism thing.
I was like, I don't know if it's a racism thing or was he just thinking in the back of his mind? It's like, God damn it, I gotta rip up the whole script for tonight because they got back Arm Truth.
Well, he didn't get to stay until the end of the show. He had to leave Worlds Collide before the main event. Didn't get to see his dude Chad Gable get his big dub.
Because they put that whole pile of blank papers on his desk again. It was like, write a new script.
Here, damn.
God damn, here, you gotta write a whole new script. It's like, this is what I do. God damn it.
God, I love this job. Anyway. Just the idea of Hunter being like, I gotta go to the roof of the Allegiant Stadium, tell him all about WrestleMania. Hold on, I'll be right back. And then meanwhile, like Nick Khan tells him to go over there, and Nick's just like, I gotta make a phone call. And he doesn't call Ron, he calls Dwayne. He's like, yep, you messed up again. All right.
Up again. You found your opening.
Call McAfee, you'll go on Thursday. Tell him about how you saved Killings.
Yeah, everybody, I know you've seen the reports that said Nick Khan called the truth. It was me all along.
Telling you, man, they're gonna rename him Terra Rana.
Terra Rana, that's awesome.
Gonna make him the first Terramana branded wrestler on the WWE roster. Dave Meltzer being like, yeah, they're gonna probably start using, NASCAR. They're gonna start putting branding on the wrestlers. Yeah, Truth is gonna be the first one. It's gonna be Terramana. No, call him Terra Rana.
Terra Rana, and he's gonna come out to that song with The Rock and Tech 9. It's about pain. It's about power. It's about.
but now Killings has got like a verse over top, so it's actually okay.
Yes. You want that truth? I'll give you Killings.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to killing spree. No, stop it. Cut. We're done. All right. Speaking of which, we mentioned the John Cena stuff, so let's dig into it. Show opens. John Cena comes out, tells everyone, "Hey, guess how many viewings you have left of John Cena? I have 18 or 19 appearances left. Show me 19 appearances." I love it.
And I loved him. I loved him going through the cities, and he made sure after the first one that it was counting it down. Like he's like, "Okay, cool," and then
So, that rules. and then he does the whole shtick, and he's doing the heel, whatever. It's not great, but this is the funniest bit for the John Cena heel turn. It's doing the date countdown, and every time it's just like when he did it in Vegas at Raw, I was just like, this is the worst or best new Adam Sandler movie I will ever see. 36 first dates. Anyway, out comes CM Punk. 36 dates left. Out comes CM Punk. He starts doing his callbacks to every single promo he and John have ever had, plus a Ring of Honor 2003 promo. And this was, listen, for the Punk lore, it was great. For the interaction, it was palpable. People really enjoyed watching Punk and Cena one more time on the microphone. Cannot take that away from him. And then Punk lays out the challenge, says, "Give it to me, give me the match tonight. If you're a real champion, you'll do it tonight." John Cena does the heel tease, says, "Okay, it's not here." And then he says, "You'll follow me. If you want to be champion, you'll follow me to Saudi Arabia." And again, I'm of two mindsets. It's one of those if you know moments, because people who are online or have been following the lore knows that CM Punk has, based on a couple of tweets and comments, never been the biggest fan of the Saudi Arabia deal with WWE. And on the other hand, CM Punk has also been very willing to play ball with his new WWE contract and the things that have been asked of him over the last 2 years almost. Well, I guess we're a year and a half. We're 18 months in, let's call. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well, now that they've made the match, they've announced the match officially on Raw and on socials. It'll be, in Riyadh, it'll be Punk and Cena for the title. They're doing that match. Now you have to figure out two things. One, we talked about the copium. Do you pull him out if he's protesting and says, "No, I don't want to do this," or "This is bad for my brand"? Do you pull him out? Is there a storyline way to pull him out? Does he go through with the match and then he's got to basically give his side of things and say why he wants to go? Or does he just hope that it all blows over? Because that's one thing Punk's really good at, is just ignoring things until they go away. Let me tell you, what was your kind of focus here as you're watching Punk and Cena tear it up on the mic, and then all of the conversation about will he or won't he with CM Punk going to Saudi Arabia?
I think I have to go back and watch this to really kind of take it in and enjoy it. Because like midway through, when he starts dropping like the lore from their past promos against each other with like Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees type stuff. I'm just in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're not doing this at Night of Champions, are they? I just start laughing because as soon as Punk did that, what was it, like an Instagram live or whatever it was, Facebook live, whatever it was, where he said, "Oh, I never said I hated going to Saudi Arabia. How can I hate something that I've never been to?" I was like, "Oh, not right there." I was like, "Oh, that right there. Yeah, he's definitely going." I was like, I knew from that comment on, I was like, he'll definitely come in. It might be this year, it might be next year, but he's definitely going. You would not. Punk is very, very, very. I don't want to say like choreographed or deliberate. Yeah, deliberate is probably the right word. He's very deliberate with anything he says on social media or anything he says publicly. And the only reason, calculate is a good word as well. Thank you, Duslo. Yeah, he's very Duclos. He's very calculated with everything that he says on social media and any public platform, every public forum. And I was like, he only would say something like that if he intends to go back on what he said in the past, that he intends to go to Saudi Arabia. That's the only reason he would say something like this. So the whole time, like the back half of this promo, I'm just thinking, Now, this would be great if this was setting up like a longer build to maybe Saturday night's main event, since that's going against All In or SummerSlam, because I know a lot of people wanted it to happen at SummerSlam. It's hilarious that they're doing it on the Monday Night Raw after Money in the Bank, because many of us at the start of the year was like, oh, Punk versus Cena, Money in the Bank. That makes sense. But it was hilarious. They're doing it on the Monday after Money in the Bank. But like that's just kind of on my mind the entire time. I was like, are they setting this up for Night of Champions? So when Punk says he wants to match tonight, I'm like, oh no. Yes, I was like, right there. I didn't even need Cena to talk. I was like, I know where Cena's gonna say he's gonna do it. He's gonna say Night of Champions. I wish that before they made the announcement for the matchup, since the way Cena said it, I wish they would have done like a backstage segment with Punk, or like Adam Pearce going to Punk, like, are you sure you want to do this or something like that? Like, just to play it up a little bit more. I think that you could have easily added that with the runtime that went over 2.5 hours on last night's show, which they rarely ever do, but they went over 2.5 hours. I think you could have added a 1 to 2 minute segment backstage with Adam Pearce basically confirming with Punk that he's sure he wants to follow him to Saudi Arabia to do the match. You don't have to talk about his past feelings, his past comments, but just be like, hey, Punk, like, Cena wants to do it at Night of Champions. He signed off on it. Do you agree as well? I think that would have added a little bit more of storyline to the whole reasoning for Punk being basically forced to go to Saudi Arabia to get his opportunity, because Punk, when you think about it in kayfabe sense, he does not deserve a shot at the WWE Championship. Every match that we've seen him in the past 2-3 months, he's lost. He lost at WrestleMania. He lost in the Money in the Bank qualifier. Like, he lost at Saturday night's main event. He has not won a matchup. He lost in a steel cage matchup against Seth Rollins. That was his last match before WrestleMania. He lost in Elimination Chamber. The only match that I've seen him win this year was against Seth Rollins on the Raw premiere, and then against Sami Zayn to qualify for Elimination Chamber. But every big match I've seen him in, he's lost. So it would make sense. Huh?
And the Drew stuff.
Well, I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about
2025. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, 2025. So this calendar year, like, it would make sense that Cena is basically saying, hey, you don't really deserve this opportunity, but I'm willing to give to you if you follow me to Saudi Arabia. So I think that just adding a 1 to 2 minute segment would have added a lot to the story overall. But for anyone who's still on the copium and it's like, oh, he's going to get written off and all in that, it would be so dumb of WWE to promote this if that's what they're intending to bait and switch. It's not. Yeah, it's great for you Punk fans who want Punk to stand on his word or stand on his criticisms that he given to others in the past. But overall, for a wrestling company to promote a big match like Punk versus Cena, it is not a good thing to then bait and switch that just because of his moral ground. Don't promote the matchup. Don't put out the graphic at all if he doesn't intend to do this.
So let's hit the context. I know, Jeremy, you're going to hop in a second. So yes, there was the tweet way back when that everyone's referencing. Punk says to Miz, "Go suck a blood money covered dick in Saudi Arabia, you effing dork," which they have they've talked about together. There have been apologies, or at least conversations had since then between those two. They seem to be okay. It happened though. And then the IG live that you mentioned at the top of your comments, SP3, he said, quote, "I've never been to Saudi. I don't hate coming to Saudi." So there are people who kind of equate one with the other and immediately feel like Punk will never go, and that's what he said and that's what he's stuck to, which, like, up until now, yeah, it has, because the opportunity and the option has never come up. This is the first time it's happened. When the Night of Champions promo dropped, he was in the video the first time, and then suddenly he wasn't, and that also added to the discourse. So now someone who has been put on this pedestal of rights, who, by the way, hasn't said much about LGBTQ rights or human rights. He hasn't made comments about that lately in WWE. His only comments about his politics or his beliefs was during Mania when he was asked, when others were talking about Donald Trump and talking about the current administration. Punk kind of gave his side without fully saying that he wasn't, a Trump fan, but that he keeps everything separate, whatever. now he's at a bit of a crossroads. He can go and do this match. He will fall under scrutiny for doing it, for the sports washing that comes with it, for the money that comes from it, where he could turn around and say, I'm going to enact change, blah, 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 blah. Change comes with going and creating it, whatever you want to use the words for. He can do what Mustafa Ali did when Ali went to Saudi the first couple of times, take that paycheck and donate it to a worthy nonprofit. He did it to water.org the first time. The second time, there was always someone different or some worthy organization that Ali would donate his money to. If he does that, that might soften the blow of what he's doing. But now Punk has a bit of a PR situation on his hands. So Jeremy, I throw to you because you wanted in on this talk as well. Oh no, he doesn't. Now he's got to wait for it. Oh, his internet cut right as I did it. That's the best part.
Yeah. He was like he said
knew.
no, and then he knew the internet was gonna cut him off, so that's why he didn't want to go.
That's amazing.
There you go.
My internet was acting up and I didn't want to start talking, and it's probably still going to act up, but
You're okay now.
okay. Here's my biggest takeaway from this. These people are not your role models. The words that these people say should not be taken as gospel. You should not stand behind what they say and form your opinion on what they say. Do your own research, get your own opinion, care for the causes that you care for because you care for those causes, not because a pro wrestler or a pro athlete or a celebrity cares for those causes. Charles Barkley said it best years ago. I am not a role model. These people are not your role models. That's my biggest takeaway from all of this, honestly. If CM Punk wants to go to Saudi Arabia after his past comments, that's something he's got to live with. And that's something that he's got to deal with if people call him a hypocrite, if people bring it up in promos, because look, that's great promo fodder for somebody like Seth Rollins. Like, if that's the way they decide to go with things, then that is the way they decide to go with things. What someone says 8 years ago, 6 years ago, however long ago. Oh my gosh, just knocked over a Pringles can. My hand was too small or too big to fit inside the Pringles can. What somebody says 6 years ago, it could be held against them. And in this case, it is. If you say one thing and then you do something else. But my biggest thing is don't put stock into what these people say 6 years ago, because chances are they might change their tune 5-10 years later, because times change, people change, money changes, and so people are going to change their opinions on things. And again, that's something. Cat is very excited about this. That is something. Yeah, that is something that CM Punk or it doesn't have to be CM Punk. It could be anybody else in this position. Plenty of people have said something 5 years ago and then done something different 5 years later. That's something that they got to live with, and they got to deal with the hypocrisy that might come with it. Maybe he cares, maybe he doesn't. There goes the internet for a second.
It's okay.
Can still hear you.
Yeah.
Good.
There we go.
Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he cares, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. If he's asked about it and in some other time, maybe he'll give an answer of like, oh, well, the place has gotten a lot better since then, so I don't have a problem going. I want to make a change too, and the only way to make a change is to go in. That's a line they love saying.
I can't make a change sitting on my couch.
Yeah, maybe that's a line. I like what you said, Joel. Maybe he donates his check to a good cause off of that, like Ali did. Very possible that happens as well. But my biggest takeaway again is these people are not your role models, and care for what you care for because you want to care for them and you are researched on them, not because a pro wrestler cares about these things.
Also, for Christ's sake, it's so funny to me in the wrestling fandom sphere that they have, like, wrestling fans try to have an opinion on geopolitical issues based on where their favorite wrestlers are going or not going. That stuff makes me laugh, because like I'm sitting here yesterday and I'm reading that like our prime minister in Canada invited MBS Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, to the G7 leaders summit in Alberta. And like bin Salman was invited to Italy for the last one and he didn't attend. But like there's this vision or view of Saudi Arabia being this new kind of big player in Middle Eastern diplomacy, and not democracy, diplomacy, that, you know, they're trying to be mainstays, they're trying to have their voices heard. And yeah, you can say, listen, it's all politics, it's all trying to, you know, become a bigger footprint on a political stage. When oil was your big deal, but then oil suddenly ran out and you realize, oh shit, now we have a lot of money to use. Well, we're going to use it to influence. You want to talk geopolitical, that's what we're at. And that's how WWE got their foot in the door with a 10-year multi-billion-dollar contract to bring shows there. And yeah, it's dirty. It's dirty as hell, don't get me wrong. But my point is, like Jeremy said, don't put your stock in the beliefs of a wrestler. Put your stock into your beliefs. And yeah, like-minded people are all well and good, but you should probably know those like-minded people before you act with or not with them.
Yeah, that's a great point to put.
SP3 mentioned of doing a backstage segment with Adam Pearce and like having a little doubt about I don't think they want to draw attention to it more than they already do, because if Punk is like hesitant on doing it and Adam Pearce is like, well, are you sure you want to do this? And Punk is like, oh, you know, maybe, like, but I really want this match. Then you're just drawing attention to, why is Punk hesitant? Why? Like, if you know, then you know. But let's not sit here and act like 100% of the audience knows that CM Punk tweeted this 6 years ago. So there's no point, I'm sure, in their mind to draw attention to, hey, why is Punk hesitant on this? Why wouldn't Punk accept this match immediately? Because there is, I'm sure, a portion of the audience that just sees Saudi show and is like, another WWE event, cool. Like they're not concerned about where it's at or what's going on or why it's there and everything. They're just like, hey, cool, another WWE event for me to watch. So I don't think they want to draw attention to it even more. The Cena comment was good of like, hey, you want this match, you follow me to Saudi. And then the people who know are like, ooh, are the people who also know the Red Sox and the Yankees references that they were doing. Like, that's a callback. The money, that's a callback. Yeah. Like those people know. But if you don't know, then there's no point in giving it more attention than it's already going to get from a section of the audience.
That's fair. Now I'm going to read this Jimmy Macaram conversation. So I let Jimmy know at 8:25 that Punk Cena in Saudi Arabia, LOL. He replied, wait, what? I said, yep, it's happening. Then I sent him the screenshot of the WWE post on social media saying Cena versus Punk one final time, Night of Champions, ? Eyes emoji. He said, watching now. He said, then we talked about other stuff for a while. And then I think after the announcement was officially made, I sent him I sent him a meme. I think it was AO of Wrestle Purists put out the meme that said bitches be like, and it's the Punk original tweet of go suck a blood money dick and saying can't stand her fake ass, and then and then on the other side it says 10 minutes later, and then it's the graphic for Night of Champions. It says me and the bestie. And he replied, this N-word thrown at her party. And I said, nah, I just shared her meme. And he says, that's the third unsolicited Punk and Saudi message of the night. He said, fucking evil, not a friend. I said, unsolicited? I said, I'm commenting on the show. I was like, don't project your cope, homie. And he laughed. He said, I heard you the first time in meme form. And I gave him the rock saying, hey, it's going to be okay. And that was the conversation.
I'm with Ken Bruno on this. I'm always with Ken Bruno. He rules. it sucks that like it's in Saudi, and that like it's not stateside in America somewhere. Even go to Canada, like the
Whoa,
majority.
hold on. Why do you say fuck you? Me? Why do you say fuck me?
Why? I said you can go to Canada. I didn't say like Canada's
You're
fine.
comparing us to KSA in your own weird way.
No. I was
I
saying
get it. I'm just
that
messing you.
like at least do it where the majority of your audience and the majority of the fans who care about this match like can travel and go see it. Like a lot of fans aren't going to travel to Saudi Arabia to go see this match, and I think that's the unfortunate part of this is it's not going to be in America, and they are just doing it in Saudi because reasons, and you know, a wink and a nod to a tweet 6 years ago, and maybe test Punk or something, or pave the way for him to be in the Saudi Rumble whenever that's going to be. Like I think that's the true unfortunate part is we're not going to get this match where a large portion of the audience can travel and go to it. Like this is a SummerSlam match. This is a match you build for SummerSlam, 2-night event, stadium show, and you get hardcore fans and casual fans alike to converge on New Jersey, which sounds terrible, and make a big event out of. Instead, it's a Saudi show where you're probably going to do good attendance there regardless, because they always do good attendance on those shows, and you've got the King Queen of the Ring finals and everything. I think it's just unfortunate that the fan bases that have followed these two the majority of their careers, the most hardcore of hardcore WWE and ROH fans and even AEW fans who want to see Cena and CM Punk, probably aren't going to be able to watch it live, or at least live in attendance. Yeah, you can watch it on Peacock Live at 3 p.m. or whatever time those shows start, but they're not going to be able to go to it and see it live. Like that kind of sucks.
Trying to look up how much tickets are. What?
Imagine the on-location packages for Night of Champions. Get your delayed on the tarmac experience package today.
So I'm actually hold on.
$10,000 to sit in a plane for 12 hours and that's not move.
Oh, just let me do this. Hold on.
It is hilarious though. I said it before that they did the setup for this on the Raw after Money in the Bank, because you said SummerSlam. I said at the beginning, Money in the Bank made the most sense. Like that is an event that they are both. This whole rivalry is synonymous for. So the fact that they did it on the Raw after Money in the Bank, this is just WWE doing a bit on us. They're just trolling us.
Which fine, like I'm with you. Money in the Bank would have made sense given the history they have, but like you could still do it at SummerSlam. You could still do the match at SummerSlam and it'd be fine, but because they're doing King and Queen of the Ring winner, although I guess somebody from Raw can win that. Cena technically a SmackDown superstar, like.
I mean, this match is with a Raw superstar in Punk. Yeah,
but you know, the winner of King and Queen of the Ring get a title shot from their respective brands, and I think technically that title is a SmackDown championship. So yeah, you could have a Raw superstar win King of the Ring, and then they get to face Gunther at SummerSlam, and then you set up Punk and Cena at SummerSlam. So you can do the match at SummerSlam, but they're gonna do it in Saudi for now. Like I've seen the theories that Punk gets taken out and so he doesn't end up going to Saudi. I'm kind of on Joel's side. Very unfortunate that I don't know about that. That does seem like a little bit of edge right there. I don't think that's actually happening.
I'm the one that said that.
We're all kind of on the same page that it's copium.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's copium.
Yeah, we're all on the same page.
It's a coping mechanism.
Again, it was the idea that I presented that as like that is stuff someone.
Okay, good. I'd much rather agree with SP3 than Joel, so that's fine.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I was trying to help you. You know.
So by the way, because we were talking about the show and its location and on location, the tickets. We did this at the last time we talked about the Saudi show. The tickets start at $18 US, and they go up to. Hold on, you're gonna love this. The VVIP. I don't know why it's like it's a very, very important person. $186.67.
Yeah.
That's how much the tickets are. They are cheap as hell. How much is a flight?
Yeah, the flight is where you got to actually look. Like, sure, we can get cheap tickets, but we got to fly over there.
Yeah. So where am I going? I'm going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. All right. Let's see. Oh God, 15. Oh Jesus Christ. Hold on. So I got to go to SmackDown too, right? Because they're doing SmackDown there.
You don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, I
go to SmackDown too. Get the double package.
Yeah, get the most out of my experience here. The cheapest from Toronto with one stop. Wow, my God. Really no direct flights. Can't say I'm surprised. $1,623 return Canadian. It's like $700 return American.
It's not getting there. That's the problem, though. It's getting back. Says Ken.
Pearl? What is this? What is this last name? Pearl. No comments.
What?
Pearl? What is this last name? Pearl.
They're like, what does this mean?
Right, how much does it cost for a flight?
As I said, $1,623 return. That's Canadian.
Oh, that's okay. I was
1623 CAD to USD. About 1,200 return.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Think I can pitch Sean on this?
I mean, you can.
Why not?
Can I go cover Night of Champions? Go to Riyadh? Listen, they're like the two other Jews that show up for those shows. So why not me?
That's true.
I'll just tell them I'm Goldberg, but I grew my hair out.
Good luck trying that one, Joel. I don't feel like it's gonna happen, but you can try.
What's it like having Monopoly money as your currency? It's pretty great. I can tell you which bill is in my wallet based on looking at its color. Unlike you guys, where I'm just like 1, 5. Like you gotta rifle through that thing. That's the worst. Oh, anyway, yeah, you got to cover Goldberg's last match. I would love to cover Goldberg's last match. An interview with Goldberg would be hilarious. Just talk about Jewish stuff the whole time.
I'd ask Goldberg.
It's gonna be for the World Heavyweight Championship now.
Yeah, I want to get there, but first, because Jeremy's here, we got to talk about Nikki Sawa.
Hell yeah,
Nikki Bella is back.
She paved the way for Io Sky.
Io Sky wouldn't.
Io Sky didn't know wrestling existed until she saw Nikki Bella throw those forearms.
No, so remember, folks, use the hashtag Thank You Nikki for all of your Io Sky matches. That stuff was fantastic. I thought that was the funniest.
I was like, why do they have freaking Io Sky doing these cameos every week? This is like 4 weeks in a row where she's just been a cameo.
She's done nothing since WrestleMania. She has one of the best matches ever at WrestleMania and wins, and has done nothing since then. It's pretty lame, but it's because she was waiting for Nikki. She's like, before I saw Nikki Bella and her strong style, I was working, way too loose. I was working way too much of a ROH in TV style. And then I saw Nikki Bella and she showed me that you could work strong style on television. I was like, this is who I need to fall. This is who I need to follow, and patterned my game after. Rules. Love Nikki Bella.
Stardom superstar Nikki Bella.
I just imagine all the Joshi girls just crowding around the TV watching Total Divas and then Nikki Bella matches. Nikki. They're like, Summer Rae taught me how to throw a slap. She was working stiff as hell on that show.
So Nikki's back. Io says, "Thank you, Nikki." And they like, this had to be a bit. Somebody had to have seen the Nikki Sawa stuff and just been like, who's the Japanese wrestler that goes and says thank you? The women's champion, because Kairi ran away. She like pitched a fit and walked out of screen.
She was scared. She was scared.
She was like, I just got done with a match. I don't want to get shoot forearm.
Yeah, so right. Funny. Nikki comes out. She starts her whole thing. Mentions Evolution, and then Liv Morgan comes out, and it looks like we're going towards Liv and Nikki, probably at Evolution. However, I see the look on Jeremy's face. The promo itself was hilarious. Just having those two kind of talk about, Liv going there. Liv going there about I've got a title, I've got a job, I got a man, and it was good stuff. I thought it was some hot promo stuff. SCSP3 cringing in the background.
Because I was like, how many times are we gonna do the same promo on Nikki
All
Bella?
the time.
I feel like I've been hearing the same promo for like a decade now.
That's
Ronda
because,
did it.
Yep.
AJ Lee did it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting Liv Morgan to do it. And this at this time, because of how she doesn't have a man anymore, it's just
I think that Nikki
That
had
was
to have
clear,
been okay
though.
with that.
Yeah.
You had to have been cleared with her.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I know she cleared it. Still, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Fair.
I don't want to. And if I'm a casual fan that doesn't know what happened, I am going to look online to find out what happened. So I don't know why you would even allude to that and why that's the only thing that's ever getting talked about when it comes to Nikki Bella. It's ridiculous.
I think this is their way of putting it out there. It exists, and then just kind of leaving it be. And people who are going to go and search it will search it. Most people know it, quite frankly. If you're a big Bella's fan, which a lot of these people are, you already know about it. And if this is Bella, just being like, let's just get it out there, let's just put it, that's it. One time we made it, and now I get to take back my career, my name, my importance. The story is about me. It's not about what's going on in my personal life. We'll lay it to rest and have that hot angle to start. If they don't bring it up again, then that was kind of where they're going with it, and just let it kind of be that moment where you're like, ooh, it's personal. That's as personal as you need to get on that front.
I don't want them to reference it all the time, but to pave the way for Nikki taking shots at, do you have a man? Because I see Dominic talking to Roxanne. Like, you had to set all of that up. I assume Nikki was fine with this, and that's why it went through. I don't think this was a Charlotte and Tiffany situation or anything like that. The material was whatever. I absolutely loved that Liv hit Oblivion when Nikki was getting back in the ring. I was like, oh, we love
That's
a
the
smart
smoothest
heel.
Oblivion has looked. Yeah.
It was not only good looking, but like, we love a smart heel who isn't just going to stand there as someone is getting back in the ring to be attacked. Like, nope. Yeah, I provoked you to come back in, and now I'm going to catch you with something before you can even hit me. Love it. Absolutely loved it. I thought that was great. And it got actual heat on Liv as well, because it would have been very easy to just do Nikki comes out, does her thing, Liv talks down to her, Nikki stands tall, gets a good reaction, but you had her get laid out in her hometown, because she is from Arizona, that's where they reside. Like, you had her get laid out by Liv. I think it's setting up Liv and Raquel against Nikki and the other goat, Pre-Mode.
We're all gonna. God, it hurts. You know how this all ends. It doesn't end with a tag match, Jeremy. It doesn't end with a one-on-one between Liv and Nikki. It ends with Nikki and Dom running off together. Another man stolen. Dominic gets to hop to his next love, and it's Nikki. That's how it ends. That's how the story goes. Dom is a serial monogamist.
Do you know? Okay. I'm for this because I need skits with stepdaddy Dom with the kid. That's what I need. Him and the kid with Nikki going to McDonald's and getting the chicken tenders.
Chicken nuggets.
Yeah. Dom's like, I want the crispy tenders. And the kid's like, you don't like the chicken McNuggets? And Dom is like, no, the chicken McNuggets, that's the kids' menu. You got to get the crispy tenders, my man. And then the kid gets the crispy tenders as well. He's like, I want to be like you, stepdaddy Dom. And they're just bonding over the crispy tenders at McDonald's. That's all I want out of this. Stepdaddy Dom. Let's go.
Stepdaddy Dom. The newest show on E.
Oh, I love you, stepdaddy. I know.
He's taking the kid. Eddie is buried in Arizona. Dom posted that photo before Raw. He's taking the kid to Eddie's grave. He's like, this was my dad, and I'm looking to make him proud with the Intercontinental title. And I think one day you're going to do the same with me, kid. When I'm gone and you're the world champion, you're the Intercontinental champion, you come visit me with that title. And you say, we did it, Stepdaddy Dom, just like I'm doing right now with my poppy. And the kid is like, I thought your dad was Rey Mysterio. He's like, not that deadbeat. No. Just
not a deadbeat. He's a deadbeat stepdad.
Yeah.
I'm a good stepdad.
He was a deadbeat dad. Eddie was the father who stepped up, just like me. I'm the father who stepped up for you, kid. Oh, I need it. I need Stepdaddy Dom. That sounds bad, but that's what I need.
Stepdaddy Dom, yes.
You're welcome.
You guys seen that shirt? You guys seen that shirt? You know that shirt that people have referenced the quote of like, oh, I'm not the stepdad, I'm the dad who stepped up. There's a knockoff of that of like, I'm not the stepdad, I'm the dad fucking this kid's mom.
What rules?
That's
I've never seen this.
No, I've never seen it. I want to see it now.
Oh god.
Just Dom just wearing that shirt. Just he couldn't get away with it on TV. Just blank out that stuff. But that's what I need. Dude, a Brian Danielson and Dominic Mysterio interaction? Are you kidding me? They're going on double dates? Oh,
they do the daddy play dates. They bring the kids out, they go to the park. Oh god, we're going on a hike.
Oh, we need it. We need all of this. All right.
Stepdaddy Dom gets the kid a new pet and it's Mr. Iguana.
Freaking Dom asking Brian if there's a vegan option for tendies.
You like cauliflower in this house. Ugh, God. Never talk to me or my son ever again.
We've got to get this. All right, this has to happen now. Nikki's got to steal Dom just for all of this. Just for all of this to happen.
I told you this is the only way that this story could end. I told you both. That's the only way.
Get Total Bellas back just so we can have these Dom and Brian interactions. Dom on the Bellas podcast. Oh, that would be amazing. He's so good in those interviews, and the Bellas would be perfect. They're playing Bella Brains with Dom and Danielson. Oh, that would rule. Danielson just talking about his books and his apple cum and everything, and Dom just being like, what? The chickens. Dude, the Danielson family got chickens. Dom going over there and like looking at those chickens and being like,
they can do like the bubble thought where he's thinking about the chicken becoming a nugget.
He's just there licking his lips, and everyone's like, "You okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me."
He's like, these are our pets, right? And he's like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
pets are tasty. What's your point?
You mean they're like dogs and cats? Yeah, like we take care of them. And they're like, well, don't they have eggs that you can use or something? Like, you don't have to love all of them, right? Like, can I buy one off of you? And that's the Dom heel turn. That's the heel turn. He feeds Danielson one of the chickens. And then he licks Danielson's tears. It's Scott Tedderman all over again.
Oh, that tastes so good. Your tears.
I watched that episode the other day. It still holds up. What an amazing.
It still holds up. Yes.
It's one of
the greatest episodes of South Park ever.
It's
the greatest Eric Cartman episode.
I thought we were gonna do the Pepper. I thought we were doing Al Snow and Big Boss Man. Scott Tenorman.
That was in bad taste. This is good taste.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of them tasted good, sure.
All right, we've successfully booked this feud. We're never they can't top what we have. So
never
to them.
That's most of the bar too high. All right. By the way, I just love the Nikki the podcast bit where she had kind of alluded to it and then she walked it back, being like, "Oh, it was a movie deal," and now we're back on it. Yeah, sure. Come on.
I'm not gonna be harsh on Nikki on that because
I just find it funny. That's all.
Yeah, but that's people's fault for just running with rumors, right? Like that's why we didn't run anything about that. It's like, because Nikki just says, oh, we got something in July type of thing. And even Brie was like, what are you talking about? And Nikki had to kind of like tell her, like, you know, the thing that she even said, like, I'm part of. So it was very, people just took it as, oh, Nikki's talking about Evolution 2. Like, I'm like, dude, Nikki's got a lot of shit going on. I don't think she's talking about some wrestling show that may or may not be happening. Like, Nikki has so many projects. She could literally be hinting at anything with this. So yeah, I didn't take it as Evolution 2, and I think people who tried to run it with that, or that, like, that's why you got to be smarter about this stuff. But I don't expect that from other people.
Dom rocking the I Love Hot Moms shirt. Oh, well, we should talk. We'll talk about King of the Ring in a minute, but let's talk about the main event of the show. Gunther is World Heavyweight Champion once again. Jey Uso's world title reign ends 6 weeks in. I'd like to think that a lot of fans were definitely behind Jey Uso's entrance. And there we go. That's the end of his first title reign. Jay Girl's asking the important question. Jeremy, are you excited to transcribe Rikishi's podcast? Because the next 6 weeks are going to be him complaining. Get ready for that.
No, I'm not excited to transcribe Rikishi's next podcast. He's just gonna say, like, I can't believe what they did to the Yeet Man. Can't believe they gave him a reign like that. Why did you have him hold the title only for 6 weeks? You gave him this big moment at WrestleMania, and then he loses on Raw. He couldn't even lose at the pay-per-view. It's gonna be the same complaints that he always has. Whatever.
6 more weeks than you had, Big Quiche.
Jay's reign was fine for what it was. I don't think anybody was expecting like a super long reign or anything. They had him face Logan Paul. It's not like they gave him the greatest challenger in the world out of everything either. So I don't know what people were hoping. They could have done better by him with the actual reign and who he faced. I thought Jay did as well as he could with his material, and the matches were fine. Nothing spectacular. The match last night I thought was good. Gunther having the title back going into SummerSlam makes sense with everything. So,
SP3, you're a huge Jey Uso fan. I know it really busted you up to see him lose that title. Your thoughts on Gunther capturing his second World Heavyweight title?
One word, 4 letters. Lost. The match was great. I thought that it was a really well done matchup, and the story that they told with Jay taking the beating last week to end Monday Night Raw, then another beating on SmackDown, him taking the heat in the tag team matchup to set up this matchup. I think that we all kind of assumed it would be kind of something bigger, like Seth Rollins cashing in or something like that, someone coming out. But I kind of enjoyed the simplicity of it all, that no, it was Gunther was enough to basically beat Jey Uso, who's been beaten down to this point. Now, I wish on hindsight, I wish that Jay would have sold the beating a little bit more during his Yeet entrance, because it felt like the Yeet entrance was really the thing that re-injured his ribs before the matchup, because he didn't sell the ribs at all during the Yeet entrance. But he did do a good job selling throughout the matchup. They told the right story with the match starting off with Jay quickly trying to go for the sleeper hold, and then how the match ended. I thought they dragged out the sleeper attempts at the end. I didn't need Jay to basically last 3 times longer than Gunther did at the end of the WrestleMania matchup. That still pisses me off, the way that Gunther just tapped out like a little bitch at WrestleMania. But I thought that was the good way to kind of put over Jay despite him losing here. And all is right in the world because Gunther has the World Heavyweight Championship back. It was a really well done story, well done matchup. And we need Gunther to get back to having some awesome, incredible matches. It's been way too long since we saw like one of those match of the year candidates from Gunther. I thought his first reign was a little lackluster because he never faced actual stars. So I'm hoping that this reign, he could face the CM Punks of the world. He could face the Roman Reigns of the world. He could face some actual top stars instead of people that he's already faced before. That's what his title reign was. He faced Randy Orton and then a whole bunch of people he already beat. Damian Priest, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso. That was his title run, basically. I hope that he could step up in quality of opponent, Seth Rollins of the world, guys like that this time around, even though I won't hold my breath when it comes to that. But
You'll
yeah,
get
I thought
Gunther
that,
and Logan Paul, and you will like it.
I will say the one thing that I did think about after this loss for Jag, I thought about the WWE Unreal trailer. And do y'all remember what Triple H said to Jey Uso in that Unreal trailer?
To you.
We're gonna strap the rocket to you this year.
Once
50-day reign where you luckily win the Royal Rumble, then we book you like crap for a month and a half, then we book you well with your brother getting murdered for 2 weeks before WrestleMania, then you win WrestleMania in a heavily criticized way, and then you have a 50-day title reign where you, 1, lost your first title defense by DQ to Seth Rollins, 2, you beat Logan Paul at Saturday Night's Main Event only really because of the help of Cody Rhodes because John Cena got involved, and then you lose here in your third title defense. So I don't know if that's strapping the rocket to you, just to let you know, Triple H.
Well, Triple H has just got to take credit for we're strapping the rocket to you. You know, it's what we are doing, not what anybody else is doing. We are doing it. I'm the executive producer. All right, folks, I'm out. I'm going to see Kendrick Lamar tonight, and very much looking forward to that. Hopefully Grandpa Marshall shows up. We'll see. I'll be running on no sleep tomorrow, and tomorrow's already a stressful day. And there's a 4-hour Dynamite tomorrow. Ugh. I won't be paying attention.
No, Jeremy, let's get it right. Sorry. There is a 2-hour Dynamite followed by a 2-hour Collision immediately following.
Followed by a 15-minute overrun.
Yes. And I will be watching the first 2 hours and judging my last week, not the other 2 hours. At least not live.
I'll be way too stressful about stupid basketball. And again, I'll be running on like no sleep because we're not getting back until like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock from this concert tonight.
When does the concert start?
Concert starts at 7, but it's a 3-hour drive. So like, and getting out just takes an hour for that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to be back until very, very late, but whatever. Should be a good show from everything I've seen online over the past few months. It is a great show, so very much looking forward to it. Talk to everybody. I was gonna hit Hinge stream. I shouldn't do that.
Please don't.
Yeah. Talk to everyone tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Drive safe, Jeremy.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Tomorrow's show is going to be Jeremy running down how that concert went, and then us talking about NXT, I guess.
You sound very excited, Joe.
I don't know how much that show is going to have in terms of gas at this point. We're going to blow a lot of that load. Anyway, this is something Jeremy and I have talked about. Jeremy and I have talked about a lot, and it is the first world title reigns. Damian Priest said that his first title reign wasn't his best, but he also thinks that it's going to be, the next ones are always the one you remember. The first is never the good one. It's always the ones that come afterwards. Number 1, does Jey Uso get another title reign in your brain? And number 2, as a first title reign, does this fall into line with everyone else? Because you can also argue, like, as good as Gunther's was, the next one has the potential to be better in all the ways that you've mentioned. So with the thoughts of like your first title reign, is it important? And do you think in Jay's case that there is another one on the horizon for him, depending on, I guess, how he's booked, of course?
What I initially feel, no. I don't think he gets another title reign. This felt, I said before WrestleMania that it felt like more of, this is Jay getting his moment. Like I said before, I'll say it 1,000 times, WWE is about making moments. It's not about long-term title reigns. It's not about title reigns that solidify someone as a main eventer. And I think that Jey would be better utilized kind of picking up the slack and being back in the tag team division, where he's one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. I think that will eventually be where he winds up, but I think for now you can ride out him being a upper mid card to fringe main event babyface on your roster, because he's so popular, and he's still going to be so popular despite losing the title, that you can keep him in the main event scene. You can have a feud with the Seth Rollins of the world with your gun. I think I'm good on any more Gunther matches for a little while, after last night, because they gave us like 22 minutes, which was much longer than I thought they were going to give us last night. They gave us a 22-minute matchup, but like I said, I thought it was very well done, very, very strong main event to the show. But I think you can relax on that. And like I said before, I want to see Gunther face some of the top stars in the company. So I think you can ride it out for like the next 6 months with Jey being on his own, but eventually either him and Sammy on Monday Night Raw, or Jey going and joining up with Jimmy on SmackDown, or Jimmy coming to Monday Night Raw. I think that him in the tag team division is going to be where he would be best utilized.
The Uso babyface protection plan was in effect last night. Commentary definitely made Uso look strong in defeat. They put over the fact that he's been working nonstop since SmackDown, and that he's been putting his title on the line. He's been wrestling, whereas Gunther has been having the time off and not wrestling as much. They really made Jey look strong in defeat. And again, I think they still have plans to keep him at least relevant. I don't think he's going to be making a run for the top anytime soon. I do wonder what's next for him, because going after the Intercontinental Championship almost feels beneath him, which is strange to say. And that's just immediately, given who's in the running and who's around. I could see him maybe doing a Jimmy Uso's tag team reunion for a little bit, maybe get that through the rest of the year and work on, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to go back to Usos a New Day in 2025, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they go that route either.
The Raw tag team division needs something.
Yeah.
They need some team to come in here and provide a spark for them. And the Usos, the Lucha Bros, they have some options, but they're going to have to kind of transfer somebody over to Monday Night Raw to make those two happen. But that would be helpful for this Raw tag team division, honestly. I think like you said, I think that Gunther's second reign will be better than the first if they give him the higher quality of opponent. With Jey, I think that his title reign, if I had to just view it in the World Heavyweight Championship runs, because we've only had a few since it came in 2023. It's now been 2 years since this title was introduced. You've had Seth, you had Drew, you had Damian Priest, Gunther, and Jey Uso. I think that Jey's was, of course, better than Drew McIntyre's, because that only lasted like 5 minutes. I think it was on par with Damian Priest's title reign. And despite my issues with Gunther's title reign, I think he's second behind Seth Rollins. So he had a middle of the pack title reign in the history of this title, this 2-year history since they reintroduced the title. So it's not the worst thing his title reign was. It just isn't, let's strap the racket behind you and let's get behind you. I think that they could have done a little bit more to make this a main event solidifying title reign. I think they did a better job of doing that with Damian Priest's 4-month title reign than with Jey here.
Yeah, Jey felt like not we're strapping the rocket to you, but more like the fans love you and we're gonna give the fans what they want. There's a bit of fan service, and it's not that Jey wasn't a good champion. He was a feel-good champion, and I think that's okay. Yeah. When you're doing a 6-week run. I don't think anyone expected this to go the distance. I don't think anyone thought this was going to be a year-long title reign. I think this was an attempt to give not only Jey Uso's character a little bit more in terms of popularity and just interest, but also it was a test run, because again, like I said, your first title reign, or like Priest said, your first title reign is never as important. You always make mistakes and you learn from them. Now it's how you get back to that spot and what your next one could look like. We've now experienced Jey Uso as a champion, for better or worse, depending on how you feel about Jey as a performer. Now, because we're running out of time, I know you've got a show to do in a little bit, but I want to talk real quick about King of the Ring. We can leave Queen of the Ring for now because this was the one thing that was frustrating about Raw. We're not even going to get to Bayley's return. We're not even going to get to Asuka being a part of the Queen of the Ring and not getting much of a.
But they disrespected Bayley. Like, come on.
It was another moment where like Ryan's saying, the Bayley treatment. They gave her a moment and then immediately went to truth. Nothing breathed. This was why I said, was there too much stuff that happened? Because Bayley becomes an afterthought. Asuka getting a video package and returning after being away for a year almost is almost an afterthought.
Where they spoiled that return with showing the bracket at the beginning of the show, even though they have a mystery bracket for the men's one, where they could have done that for Asuka and then announced it with the video package, but no, we can't do that.
Yeah, so Jeremy and I'll probably talk about that tomorrow because we'll be looking for stuff to talk about. And plus, this is more relevant to the Gunther title reign. I don't think that anyone from SmackDown is going to win and get the challenge for Cena. So let's get to that. Sami Zayn is in. He's going to be part of the King of the Ring. He won his Fatal 4-Way. Do they do another men's one? No, next week is the other men's one with the mystery opponent on the other side of the bracket. So who do you think that mystery opponent is? Because I think I know.
Ilya Dragunov.
I don't think it's Ilya. I think it's Cross. I think it's Cross.
You think it's Karrion Kross?
I do think it's Cross. First of all, I think
why would they make that a mystery though?
That's the problem. They got to explain the mystery because maybe Cross politicked his way in because Sammy is on the other side of the bracket. I think you might be seeing a Cross and Sammy final in King of the Ring because it's Saudi. They'd love Sammy. He is untouchable, and that's an easy match to have. You do it for the pop, you do it for the surprise. He wins the match. He's going to go far to the finish. You can't. I tell you why. There's one reason why you can't do Karrion Kross winning King of the Ring SP3, and do you know what that is?
What?
He would be King Karrion Kross.
Triple K.
Oh, that doesn't look very good. It's the Krusty Comedy Classic. You can't do it. Karrion Kross, okay?
KKK.
Yes.
Okay, KK.
You just can't do it.
I would be down with Mr. Iguana being the mystery.
Of course, everyone wants Iguana. But with Cross and Sammy, it's an easy story to tell going to a Saudi show where Sammy is that guy, and you can do the Cross Sammy story and just get it over with. And let it be Sammy gets the big win over this guy who's been following him around for long enough. And the story of SummerSlam is Sammy's world title match. Because whether it was going to be against Jey Uso, where he was looking a little too longingly at Jey after WrestleMania, when, the night after Mania, when everyone thought, oh, this is a heel turn, when really it was just Sammy looking a little too long, waiting for his spot, or Gunther and Sammy, renewing their rivalry. Sammy beat Gunther at WrestleMania 40, so there is a story there of Gunther losing to Sammy. Now it's for the world title. There's a big match feel there. Sammy winning King of the Ring to me feels like the play to have a world title match set up, because whatever's going on with John Cena doesn't get facilitated by winning a tournament. Facing John Cena at this point for that world title is facilitated by John Cena wanting to face you. Yeah. So this, to me, that's why I'm going. I think Sammy's going to win this, and it's going to be Sammy and Gunther at SummerSlam.
I can see that. I think it was Soul Monster who said that he thinks that Sammy's going to win the King of the Ring. Sammy beats Gunther at SummerSlam. Seth cashes in to ruin Sammy's moment, and they basically redo the Danny O'Brien story, which I'd be here for. I'd be here for that. I'll be 100% down for that, because that would mean also not only is Sammy winning the King of the Ring, he's going to win the Royal Rumble. And he's gonna be able to get his revenge on Seth at next year's WrestleMania. I'd be down. Sign me up for all of that. I'm a big Sami Zayn fan. All of that. I just don't. I think everything you said made sense. Other than I don't really think that you kind of explained why Karrion Kross would be a mystery. That's not a good reason for Karrion Kross to be a mystery. The mystery after you spoil one return in the other bracket, this mystery person kind of has to be a return or a debuting star or someone that is not on the Raw roster. If it's just Karrion Kross, I'm just gonna be like,
just Karrion Kross. My God,
I like Karrion
no,
Kross. I'm here for Karrion Kross. Yes, he's gonna get a pop. He's gonna get a pop regardless. You can announce him as the person too, and he still would get the same pop. It's not that big of a surprise, guys. Hate to tell you this.
To me, there's just a moment there. Maybe it's Sammy advocating, just being like, you know what, give me Kross. Like I want to beat this guy's ass. I want to beat this guy's ass. And then you've got Pierce being like, well, you know what, now's your chance. He's whatever. He's in. I don't know. I really don't know how you get there. I don't know how they justify it. There's really no reason to justify it. Quite frankly, instead of doing a maybe I don't love this, but if you're going to do a mystery one, instead of doing that, just be like, it's the loser of the world title match tonight. Either Jey Uso or Gunther get to win their way back to the top. They got to prove it. Then at least your loser doesn't look like they're losing into a title shot. They're losing into a tournament where they were the champion in Jay's case. And then he could win his way to the top. He doesn't, but at least you do something. I agree that doing the spot was weird. I don't necessarily think that Ilya Dragunov is ready. By all accounts, he had the surgery.
I don't know if he's ready either. That's what I said. That's why I was putting out more options that would make sense. Mr. Iguana, even the one you said with Jey Uso being in it because he lost the world title matchup. That also makes some type of sense as well. So I think there's some options for them, and putting in someone like Ilya Dragunov, it just made sense to me because of the people that are already in this four-way with Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev. You want someone who can take a beating and chop the hell out of these big boys. That's Ilya Dragunov. I hope Ilya is ready to come in and make his return. I'm being cautiously optimistic about that.
Mr. Iguana, to me, being a TNA guy who has to follow that whole thing, the AAA deal is almost like an NXT and AAA deal where they don't go to main roster unless you're Jordan Grace or Joe Hendry. The point of all this being, if it's going to be Mr. Iguana, I don't think they're going to do that so quickly. Worlds Collide was more of an NXT deal than it was a WWE deal. You know,
Ricky Saints is
another one. I know some people had talked about him in the chat. I don't know if that's all the people in that match are big. That's the other side of it too.
Yeah,
they're big men. That's why Cross makes some sense in this. Someone saying, you really think Cody's losing King of the Ring? I don't think Cody's winning that four-way. And that's the whole thing, is that they set up these stupid four-ways.
Who do you think's winning that four-way then?
Who's in that four-way? That's my question.
Damian Priest, Andrade, and Nakamura. I would think that it's either, if it's not Cody, it has to be Priest.
I think Priest will win. Priest is going after Fatu.
And exactly. So that's why I think Cody, it's going to be Cody versus Sammy in the final.
I think Andrade might get the win. Honestly, Nakamura and Priest cancel each other out. And Andrade can pick the bones on somebody, and Cody can get tossed out of the, after hitting 3 crossroads. It could be a stolen pin.
Yeah, we all know what Valop's saying in the chat. Yeah, it's definitely Nakamura taking the pinfall.
Yeah, it feels that way. And he pushed Andrade a little bit further. He had a good showing in Money in the Bank. Again, like you mentioned it, he did take a ladder to the dick, so he at least deserves something out of that. That's why I'm like, you can probably get Andrade, and like it is a shock. But Cody, I don't think is making it past the 4-way. I think he gets screwed out of it somehow. That's the other thing with these stupid 4-ways and 3-ways that they book is like, oh, no disqualification in the multi-man match. It's like, why does that have to be that way? Why do you have to make it like that? Like, not just booking the match, that's one thing, but why does it have to be that the stipulation now in WWE for the last few years has been, oh, no disqualification in a 3-way or a 4-way in a multi-man match? It's like, all you did was add another person. You didn't exactly add like combustible elements beyond the number of people in the ring. It's dumb. So anyway, using that, it's been their like booking crutch for the last almost a year now. They can't get DQ'd in a triple threat. So
there's never been DQ in a triple threat or a fatal 4-way
for the last few years, but there was a time where they were running them as a normal
forever, sir.
Well, regardless, I think it's dumb. I still think it's dumb. I don't care if it's been 5 years or 1 year.
No, I have no issue with you feeling it's dumb, but it's not something that's new.
I thought in WWE it was a newer thing that they started pulling on people.
No,
It's dumb.
no.
It's still dumb
It's been like
regardless.
that for years.
It's a crutch. I don't like it.
Yeah, it definitely is, but yeah.
Who wins the 4-way? It makes sense. Well, that's what we just said. Andrade wins it. Andrade steals the victory, or Andrade picks the bones. Like it's not hard. It's a 4-way. Like they keep putting these people in the 4-way so that they can protect 3 other men or 2 other in the match. They want to give you the star power, but they don't want to give you any star making power out of pinning a star.
I think that it will be Sammy and Cody in the finals, mainly because they're going to want one of these finals to at least be a Raw versus SmackDown matchup. And I think that it's more likely that we get a same brand versing each other in the finals in the Queen of the Ring, because they've already set that up with Charlotte and Jade Cargill.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. We'll see. Again, we'll see what happens on SmackDown, though. I think that's the match they're running. But yeah, that's King of the Ring. I still think Sammy's the winner and goes on to Saudi and wins the whole thing, and then goes to SummerSlam. And I like the idea that he wins it, gets cashed in on, but we'll see where that kind of lies. Seth is going to lay dormant for now until he starts losing a bunch of matches on the way, right? That's what we know.
Exactly.
Money in the bank.
When he goes in, he's like, yep, he's about to cash in.
Loser in the bank. Let him go on a hell of a run just to force people's belief to change just once. Anyway, we'll talk about Queen of the Ring tomorrow with Jeremy. If you want to pop on SP3, you always can, but we gotta get out of here. We gotta go home. Plug your stuff. Let's go.
Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. I will be live in about 45 minutes with Romeo and Top Guy JJ, giving you a more in-depth review of Monday Night Raw, talking about all the segments, talking about Gunther beating Jey Uso, Jey Uso's title reign. What did we think of it? Where it ranks? CM Punk going to Saudi Arabia, Ron Killings equals the truth, and why WWE doesn't seem, or Triple H doesn't seem to like Bayley so much.
Really does not like her, eh?
They just like, yo, there was just like, nothing to see here. They did the Tekla debut. It was like, nothing to see here. Troops here.
They showed you that Bayley showed up.
Bayley showed up.
They showed
moving on straight to the back, like the old TNA Impact.
Right.
Straight to the back.
Bring out Truth. Bring out our guy Truth. Let him jump on the table. Come on, we love that R-Truth. Come on, look, he's part of the show now. Love him. Look at this guy, Noogie. That's what he did. That's what
and they also set up LA Knight going after the Seth Riders. So that's cool.
Right.
That was good. That was good for the LA Knight fans. I know a lot of LA Knight fans were not happy after Money in the Bank. So
yeah, the movement really into that one. All right,
Joe, plug your stuff, please.
I'm here tomorrow with Jeremy. Hopefully Jeremy's awake. He's gonna have fun at that concert, but I'm sure the stories will be rampant. We'll talk about April, May, June, and a whole lot more from NXT. Do you know why they're calling her April, May, June SP3?
Because those were the months she was away from AEW.
Those were the months she was away from AEW, and that's how petty we get. At least it's better than doing a hometown man gimmick in TNA. I'm not going to get into that because I'm.
Oh my God! Did y'all even talk about that yesterday? I was so pissed.
We talked about nothing.
Oh man, I came on here. It was like Trevor Lee because I was more creative than TNA.
They did it, and I was like, nope, turning it off. Not even giving them anything. Trey Miguel had the right answer after the tag match, taking a powder to the back. He was pissed off about Hometown Man. Now he's got a tweet about how much he loves Hometown Man. No, TNA is not. I'm on their necks about this bullshit. This is one that's not getting over for me, and it never will. You're done. You're done. That's how it works. Dumb. It's dumb. Anyway, let's get out of here. For SP3, you know who I am. You know who he is. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, leave a thumbs up on the way out, and we'll see you in the next one.